Hi, this is Jane with Green Side Up. We're recording out here in our greenhouse, and today we're going to talk about pothos, a houseplant. Now, I'll tell you, this is one of my favorite houseplants at home. You know why? It's so easy to take care of. Now, even though I work in a greenhouse and I know a lot of things about plants, I like stuff that's easy to take care of. So at my home, this is what I have. In any family, like in your family, you have cousins. And even though you all have the same last name, each of those cousins are a little bit different. They're not all exactly the same. It's the same way in a plant family. So in the family of the pothos, there is, for instance, this one, which is called the golden pothos. And it has just little bits of gold in the green leaves. There's another one. This is called the neon pothos. As you can see, the leaves are much more yellow. I've got another one here. This is called pearls and jade. And it's variegated with the white and the green. All of these are in the same family. They all just have a little bit different characteristics. However, even though they have the different characteristics, some of the basic steps for taking care of them are the same. So, back to this golden pothos. This one has, I think, a little bit more vigorous growth than, say, this one. And so it is a vining plant. And this is a fairly young plant, so it doesn't have a whole lot of vines, but a pothos will vine down. A lot of people like them, for instance, for hanging baskets, because they do have that vining effect. They're very easy to grow, as I said. They need bright light, but it doesn't have to, you don't have to buy grow lights in order to grow them. Just put them in a window. And they can go in a little bit darker areas sometimes, but you will notice that the growth will be a little bit different in something that is grown in a darker area. And that's not just with this plant, that's with any plant. Watering, you're going to water them when dry. I bet you've heard me say that one before. Generally at home, at my house, I keep my house fairly cool, so it's in the low 60s during the winter time. I water my plants anywhere between a week and 10 days. So that might be where you do yours. If your house is warmer, of course, you probably have to water a little more. There's a couple ways, of course, that you can tell if a plant needs water. Take your finger and you can stick it into the pot. If it's dry that far down, you probably need to water it. The other thing is you can pick up a pot, and if the pot's very lightweight, it needs a little water. Pothos like being watered underneath. So for instance, you would have a saucer here. You'd put some water into it. You'd put the pot in the saucer. The plant will absorb the water. And that's a nice way to water them. If you water them too much, they can get a little root rot right around, or stem rot right around the tops there. As I said, they are a vining plant. If you are not getting enough sunlight, if that plant isn't getting enough sunlight, you will start to see what we call a stretch. So instead of your leaves being close together like this, there will be a longer space between them on the vines. That indicates that a plant isn't getting enough light. Just move it to a better lit area, and that will take care of itself. My mom used to have the pothos, and she would actually trim them, so she had just the ends, and she would stick those in water, and she would root them. And truthfully, she kept them rooted like that in water for a couple years even. But you can also root them and then just plant them into pots. Pothos are a relatively pest-free plant. As with any plant, there's always spider mites and aphids and those kind of bugs that sometimes show up. I have never had problems with my pothos, and I've had them for a number of years. The other thing is diseases. Sometimes you might get, for instance, you might get a little browning on the tips of your leaves. That's not really a disease. It's usually a water problem, either too much or too little. And so just kind of adjust your watering. As with most plants, they prefer to be more on the dry side than the too wet side. And if you remember that with any plants, you're going to be better off. This is an excellent plant. I always take, especially people who don't know a whole lot about plants, this is an excellent starter plant. We have several different varieties. Plus, we have all kinds of other plants here at our greenhouse. And I'm doing this video just before Valentine's Day. We've got lots and lots of really pretty blooming plants. Come on over, give us a visit, and we can sell you some pothos or anything else that you're looking for. This is Jane with Green Side Up, and happy Valentine's Day.